Genesis chapter 1. So in the beginning, God, totally created the heavens and the earth. And the earth was totally formless, and it was super dark. And God's spirit was just floating over the water. Then God was all, "Let there be light." And boom, there was light. And God saw the light, and he was like, "OMG, this is so good." So he separated the light from the darkness. He called the light day, and the darkness night. And it was the first day. Then God was all, "Let there be this super fab space between the waters to totally separate them." So he made this space and separated the water below from the water above. And it was totes awesome. God called this space heaven. And then it was the second day, OMG. God was like, "Okay, now let's gather all the water in one place and let the dry land appear." And it happened. He called the dry land earth and the water seas. And God was like, "This is totally good." Then God was all, "Let the earth grow grass and plants and trees with seeds and fruit and stuff." And it happened. The earth started growing all these plants and trees with seeds and fruit. And God was like, "OMG, this is so good." And then the evening and the morning were the third day. Then God was like, "Let there be lights in the sky to separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs and seasons and stuff." And they were going to light up the earth and everything. And that totally happened. So God made two big lights, one for the day and one for the night. And he made the stars too, 'cause why not? And he put them in the sky to give light to the earth, duh. And they were supposed to rule over the day and night, and separate the light from the dark. And God was like, "OMG, this is good." And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. Then God was all, "Let the waters totally teem with living creatures, and let birds fly in the sky." So God created these ginormous sea creatures, and everything that swims and moves in the water, and birds and stuff. And he was like, "OMG, this is so good." Then God blessed them and was like, "Go totally multiply and fill the waters and the earth and stuff." And the evening and the morning were the fifth day. Then God was all, "Let the earth bring forth living creatures, like cattle and creeping things and wild animals and stuff." And it totally happened. So God made all the animals and creeping things and stuff. And God was like, "This is so good." Then God was like, "Let's make humans in our image, so they can totally rule over the fish, the birds, the cattle, and everything." So God created humans in his image, Like he made them male and female, duh. And God blessed them and was like, "Be super fruitful, multiply, and fill the earth. Oh, and totally subdue it. You're in charge of the fish, the birds, and all the animals." And then God was like, "Look, I'm giving you all these plants with seeds and fruit trees and stuff for food." And he gave all the animals the green plants to eat too. 'Cause everyone's gotta eat, right? And it was totally awesome. And God looked at everything he made, and he was all, "This is so good. I am totally proud of myself." And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. Genesis chapter 2. So the heavens and the earth were, totally done, and all the stars and stuff were in place. And on the seventh day, God totally finished his work, and he was like, "I'm gonna chill now." So he took a rest day. Then God was all, "This day is blessed and super special," because he totally kicked back after all that creating he did. So these are the, stories of how the heavens and the earth were created, when the Lord God made everything. And before any plants or herbs had grown, God hadn't sent rain yet, and there was no one to work the ground. But this mist came up from the earth and totally watered everything. Then the Lord God formed man out of the dust, and breathed into him the breath of life, and man became totally alive. And then God planted this fab garden in the east, in Eden, and put the man there, 'cause, he made him. Out of the ground, God made all these gorgeous trees grow that were so nice to look at and totally good for food. And in the middle, there was the tree of life and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. There was also this river that flowed out of Eden to water the garden, and then it split into 4 rivers. The first one was called Pison, and it went all around the land of Havilah, where there was gold. And the gold there was super good, and there was bdellium and onyx stone, which is totally chic. The second river was Gin, and it flowed around the whole land of Ethiopia. The third river was Hiddekel, and it flowed toward the east of Assyria. And the fourth river was the Euphrates. So the Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to take care of it and keep it totally fab. And then God was, okay, you can totally eat from any tree in the garden, but don't eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. 'Cause if you do, you're totally gonna die. Then the Lord God was like, ugh, it's not cool for man to be alone. I'll make him a helper who's just right for him. So God formed all the animals and birds from the ground and brought them to Adam to see what he'd call them. And whatever Adam called them, that was totally their name. Adam gave names to all the animals and birds and stuff, but there was no one who was the perfect helper for Adam. So God made Adam fall into this deep sleep, and while he was asleep, God took one of his ribs and closed him back up. Then God made a woman from the rib he took from Adam and brought her to him. And Adam was like, whoa, this is bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She's gonna be called woman, 'cause she was totally taken out of man. So this is why a man will leave his parents and be totally joined to his wife, and they'll become one. And they were both naked, Adam and his wife, and they were totally not embarrassed about it. Genesis chapter 3. So the serpent was super sneaky, even more than all the other animals God had made. And it was all, like, did God seriously say you can't eat from any tree in the garden? And the woman was like, no, we can totally eat the fruit from the trees in the garden. But the fruit from that one tree in the middle, God said don't eat it, and don't even touch it, or else you'll totally die. Then the serpent was all, you're not gonna die. God just knows that when you eat it, your eyes are gonna be opened, and you're gonna be like gods or whatever, knowing all the tea on good and evil. So the woman was like, OMG, this tree is totally cute, and the fruit looks so delish, and it'll make me super wise too. I'm totally gonna eat it. So she took the fruit and ate it. Then she gave some to her hubby, and he ate it too. Then both of their eyes were opened, and they realized, OMG, we're naked. So they sewed some fig leaves together and made aprons or whatever. Then they heard God walking in the garden during the cool part of the day, and they freaked out and hid behind some trees. But the Lord God was all, Adam, where are you? And Adam was like, I heard you in the garden, and I was totally scared 'cause I'm naked, so I hid. Then God was all, wait, who told you that you were naked? Did you eat from that tree I told you not to eat from? And Adam was like, well, the woman you gave me, she gave me the fruit, and I ate it. Then the Lord God was like, woman, what have you done? And the woman was like, the serpent totally tricked me, so I ate it. So the Lord God said to the serpent, OMG, because you did this, you are so cursed. You're gonna crawl on your belly and eat dust all your life. And I'm gonna put this total drama between you and the woman, and between your offspring and hers. And her offspring is gonna crush your head, and you're gonna bite his heel. To the woman, God was all, I'm gonna make it super painful for you to have kids, and you'll want your hubby, but he's totally gonna be in charge. Then God said to Adam, because you listened to your wife and ate from the tree I told you not to, the ground is cursed now because of you. You're gonna have to work hard and be stressed to get food from it all your life. It's gonna grow thorns and thistles and stuff, and you're gonna eat the plants of the field. And you're gonna work super hard for your food until you go back to the ground. 'Cause that's where you came from. You're dust, and you're totally going back to dust. Adam was all, I'm calling my wife Eve, 'cause she's the mother of everyone who's living. And God made clothes out of animal skins for Adam and Eve, and dressed them. Then the Lord God was like, whoa, man has totally become like one of us, knowing good and evil. Now we gotta make sure he doesn't reach out and take from the tree of life, 'cause then he'll live forever. So the Lord God sent Adam out of the Garden of Eden to work the ground from where he was made. And he totally drove them out, and put some cherubims and a flaming sword at the east side of the garden, spinning around all over the place to keep them away from the tree of life. Genesis chapter 4. So Adam and Eve, totally had a thing, and she got pregnant and gave birth to Cain, and was all, OMG, I've gotten a man from the Lord. Then she had another son, Abel. And Abel was a shepherd, taking care of sheep, while Cain was all about farming the land. So after some time, Cain brought some fruit from his crops as an offering to the Lord. But Abel, he brought the best of his flock, the firstborn and the fat portions. And the Lord was totally into Abel's offering. But he wasn't vibing with Cain's offering, and Cain was so mad, and his face totally fell. So the Lord was all, "Why are you so mad? Why the long face, dude? If you do what's right, you'll be accepted, right? But if you don't, sin is totally creeping at your door. You gotta rule over it." So Cain talked to Abel, and then, when they were out in the field, Cain totally flipped out and killed Abel. Then the Lord was like, "Hey, where's Abel, your brother?" And Cain was all, like, "I don't know. Am I his babysitter or something?" And the Lord was like, "What have you done? Your brother's blood is totally crying out to me from the ground. Now you're cursed from the earth that opened up to drink your brother's blood from your hand. When you try to farm, the ground's not going to give you its strength anymore. You're going to be a total wanderer and fugitive." And Cain was all, "OMG, this punishment is way more than I can handle. You've driven me away from the land, and I'm going to be totally hidden from your face. I'll be a fugitive, and everyone who finds me is totally going to kill me." But the Lord was like, "No way. If anyone kills Cain, I'll get vengeance on them 7 times over." So the Lord put this mark on Cain to make sure no one would kill him. Then Cain left the presence of the Lord and moved to the land of Nod, which was east of Eden. So Cain hooked up with his wife, and she got pregnant and had a son named Enoch. Cain built a city and named it after his son Enoch. Enoch had a son named Irad, and Irad was the father of Mehujael, and Mehujael had Methuselah, and Methuselah was the father of Lamech. And Lamech had 2 wives. One was named Ada, and the other was Zillah. Ada gave birth to Jabal, who became the father of all the people who lived in tents and had cattle. And Jabal's brother was named Jubal, and he was the father of everyone who plays the harp and the organ. And Zillah had a son named Tubal-Cain, who was the master of working with bronze and iron. And his sister was named Naamah. Lamech said to his wives, "Ada and Zillah, listen up. I've killed a man for hurting me, and a young man for wounding me. If Cain is going to be avenged 7-fold, then Lamech is totally going to be avenged 77 times. So Adam and Eve had another baby, and she named him Seth, because she was like, "God has given me another child to replace Abel, who Cain totally killed." And Seth had a son too, and they named him Enos. And that's when people started calling on the name of the Lord. Genesis chapter 5. So this is totally the book of the generations of Adam. When God created man, he made him in the image of God. He made them male and female, and he totally blessed them and called them Adam on the day they were created. So Adam lived for 130 years and had a son in his own image and totally named him Seth. After Seth was born, Adam lived for another 800 years and had a bunch more sons and daughters. And Adam lived a total of 930 years, and then he died. Then Seth lived 105 years and had a son named Enos. And after Enos was born, Seth lived another 807 years and had more sons and daughters, of course. And all the days of Seth were 912 years, and then he totally died too. So Enos lived for 90 years and then had a son named Cainan. And after Cainan was born, Enos lived for 815 more years and had more sons and daughters. And all the days of Enos were 905 years, and then he died. Cainan lived for 70 years and had a son named Mahalaleel. And after Mahalaleel was born, Cainan lived 840 more years and had more sons and daughters. And all the days of Cainan were 910 years, and then he died. So Mahalaleel lived 65 years and had a son named Jared. After Jared was born, Mahalaleel lived 830 more years and totally had more sons and daughters. And all the days of Mahalaleel were 895 years, and then he died. Jared lived for 162 years and had a son named Enoch. After Enoch was born, Jared lived for 800 more years and had more sons and daughters, of course. And all the days of Jared were 962 years, and then he totally died. So Enoch lived 65 years and had a son named Methuselah. And Enoch walked with God after Methuselah was born for 300 years and had more sons and daughters. And all the days of Enoch were 365 years. And Enoch totally walked with God, and then he wasn't around anymore, 'cause God totally took him. So Methuselah lived for 187 years, and had a son named Lamech. And after Lamech was born, Methuselah lived for 782 more years, and had more sons and daughters. And all the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and then he died. Then Lamech lived for 182 years, and had a son. And he named him Noah, saying, "This one is totally going to comfort us about all this hard work and stuff because the ground is cursed, duh." And after Noah was born, Lamech lived for 595 more years, and had more sons and daughters. And all the days of Lamech were 777 years, and then he died too. And when Noah was 500 years old, he had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Genesis chapter 6. So it totally happened that people started to multiply on the earth, and all these daughters were born to them. And the sons of God were all, OMG, the daughters of men are super cute, and they chose whichever ones they wanted as wives. Then the Lord was like, my spirit isn't going to deal with humans forever, 'cause they're flesh and stuff. So they're only going to live for 120 years. And there were these giants on the earth back then, and also later, when the sons of God had kids with the daughters of men. And these kids became these super powerful and famous guys. But God saw that people were totally wicked, and their thoughts were always evil all the time. And the Lord was super bummed that he made humans on the earth, and it totally broke his heart. So the Lord was all, I'm gonna wipe out the humans I made from the earth, and the animals, the creepy crawlies, and the birds too, 'cause I totally regret making them. But Noah found grace in the Lord's eyes, 'cause he was awesome. So here's the deal with Noah. He was totally a righteous dude, perfect in his time, and he walked with God, duh. And Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. But the earth was totally corrupt in front of God, and it was filled with violence. God looked at the earth, and it was a total mess, 'cause all the people were totally corrupt. So God was like, Noah, the end of all people has totally come. The earth is filled with violence, and I'm going to destroy them along with the earth. So make yourself an ark out of gopher wood. You need to make rooms in it and cover it inside and out with pitch. And here's how you're going to make it. It's going to be 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. You're going to make a window for it and finish it a cubit from the top, and the door is going to be on the side. You're going to have 3 stories, like lower, middle, and upper decks. 'Cause I'm going to bring a flood on the earth and destroy everything that has the breath of life. Everything is totally going to die. But I'm making this covenant with you, Noah. You and your sons, your wife, and your sons' wives totally have to come into the ark. And you're going to bring 2 of every living thing into the ark, male and female, to keep them alive with you. Like birds, animals, and all the creepy crawlies. 2 of every kind are going to come to you to stay alive. And you have to gather all this food for you and them, 'cause you're going to need it to survive. So Noah did everything God told him to do, totally. Genesis chapter 7. So the Lord was all, Noah, you and your whole fam totally need to get into the ark, 'cause I've seen you're righteous and stuff in this generation. And he was like, of every clean animal, you gotta take 7 pairs, male and female, duh. And of the animals that aren't clean, just take 2, male and female. And for the birds of the air, take 7 pairs too, male and female, so their species can totally stay alive on the earth. 'Cause in 7 days, I'm gonna make it rain for 40 days and 40 nights, and I'm totally gonna wipe out every living thing I made from the face of the earth. So Noah did everything the Lord told him to do, obviously. And Noah was 600 years old when the flood started happening on the earth. So Noah, his sons, his wife, and his sons' wives all went into the ark because of the floodwaters. And all the clean animals, and the ones that weren't clean, and the birds, and the creepy crawly things, they all went into the ark in pairs, like 2 by 2, male and female, just like God told Noah. And after 7 days, the floodwaters totally covered the earth. So in the 600th year of Noah's life, on the 2nd month, on the 17th day, that's when all the fountains of the deep broke open, and the windows of heaven totally opened up. And it rained for 40 days and 40 nights, so much rain. On the very same day, Noah and his sons Shem, Ham and Japheth and Noah's wife and the wives of his sons, they all went into the ark. And every kind of animal, all the cattle, every creeping thing, and every bird totally went into the ark. They all went in 2 by 2, of all flesh that had the breath of life. And they went in, male and female, just like God commanded, and the Lord was all, "Okay, I'm shutting you in now," and he totally closed the door. The flood was on the earth for 40 days, and the water kept rising, and the ark was lifted up off the ground and was totally floating. The waters just kept getting higher and higher on the earth, and the ark totally floated around on the surface of the water. The waters rose so high that all the mountains under the whole sky were covered. The water was 15 cubits deep, and it totally covered all the mountains. And everything that moved on the earth died, like the birds, the cattle, the wild animals, the creepy crawlies, and all the people. Everything on dry land that had the breath of life totally died. So everything that was living on the earth, people, animals, the creepy things, and the birds, they were all wiped out. Only Noah and the ones with him on the ark stayed alive. And the floodwaters totally covered the earth for 150 days. Genesis chapter 8. So God totally remembered Noah and all the animals and cattle with him in the ark. And he sent this wind over the earth, and the waters started to chill. The fountains of the deep and the windows of heaven totally stopped, and the rain finally quit. The waters started going down little by little, and after 150 days, the water had gone way down. The ark finally rested on the mountains of Ararat on the 17th day of the 7th month. The waters kept going down, and by the first day of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains were totally visible. So after 40 more days, Noah opened the window of the ark that he had made. He sent out this raven, and it flew back and forth until the waters had dried up from the earth. Then he sent out a dove to see if the waters were totally gone from the surface of the ground. But the dove couldn't find anywhere to land because there was still water everywhere. So it came back to Noah, and he reached out and pulled her back into the ark. He waited 7 more days, and then sent the dove out again. This time the dove came back with an olive leaf in its mouth, and Noah was, "OMG, the waters are totally receding." He waited another 7 days and sent the dove out again, and this time it didn't come back. So in the 601st year of Noah's life, on the first day of the first month, the waters were dried up from the earth. Noah took off the covering of the ark and saw that the ground was totally dry. By the 27th day of the 2nd month, the earth was completely dry. Then God was, "Noah, you and your whole fam, your wife, your sons, and their wives can totally leave the ark now. And bring out all the animals with you, the birds, the cattle, and all the creepy crawly things, so they can totally multiply and fill the earth again." So Noah, his sons, his wife, and his sons' wives all left the ark. And every animal, bird, and creepy thing left the ark, just like God said. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and took some of the clean animals and birds, and offered burnt offerings on the altar. The Lord was, "OMG, that smells amazing." And in his heart, he was all, "I'm never gonna curse the ground because of humans again, even though people's hearts are totally evil from the time they're young. And I'm never gonna destroy every living thing like I just did again." And he was, "As long as the earth is around, there will always be seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night. It'll never stop." Genesis chapter 9. So God totally blessed Noah and his sons and was all, "Okay guys, be super fruitful and multiply and fill up the earth." And God was like, "Every animal on the earth, every bird in the sky, all the creatures that move around, and all the fish in the sea, they're totally going to be scared of you. I'm giving them into your hands. Everything that moves and lives is food for you now. Just like I gave you all the green plants, everything's yours. But don't eat meat with its blood still in it, 'cause that's totally not cool." And God was all, "Oh, in your blood? Yeah, I'm going to require that too from animals and people. If anyone kills someone else, I'm totally going to hold them responsible. If someone sheds human blood, then by humans their blood is going to be shed, 'cause humans were made in God's image, duh. So be fruitful and multiply a lot, okay? Fill the earth and totally thrive in it." Then God spoke to Noah and his sons, and was like, I'm making this super important covenant with you and your future generations, and with every living creature with you, the birds, the animals, and all the creatures on the earth that came out of the ark. I'm establishing this major covenant with you. Never again will all living things be destroyed by a flood, and there will never be a flood that wipes out the whole earth. And God was like, this is the sign of the covenant between me and you and every living creature for all generations. I'm putting my rainbow in the clouds, and it's going to be the total sign of this covenant between me and the earth. So whenever I bring clouds over the earth, the rainbow will totally appear in the clouds. And I'll remember my covenant between me and you and all the living creatures, and the waters will never again become a flood to destroy all life. The rainbow will be in the clouds, and I'll look at it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and all the living creatures on earth. Then God was all, Noah, this is totally the sign of the covenant I'm making with all the creatures on earth. So Noah's sons who came out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. By the way, Ham is the father of Canaan. These were Noah's 3 sons, and from them the whole earth was populated. So Noah became a farmer and planted a vineyard. And he drank some wine and totally got drunk and ended up lying naked in his tent. Ham, who was the father of Canaan, saw his dad totally naked, and he went and told his brothers about it. So Shem and Japheth were all, OMG, and they took a garment, put it on their shoulders, and walked backward into the tent to cover their dad without looking at him. When Noah woke up from his wine-induced nap, he realized what his younger son had done. And he was all, cursed be Canaan. He's going to be a servant of servants to his brothers. And Noah was like, blessed be the Lord, the God of Shem, and Canaan will be totally his servant. God's going to make Japheth super successful, and he'll live in the tents of Shem, and Canaan is going to be his servant too. Noah lived 350 more years after the flood. So all of Noah's life added up to 950 years, and then he died. Genesis chapter 10. So these are the generations of Noah's sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. They all had sons after the flood, The sons of Japheth were Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshech, and Tiras, like all those guys. And Gomer's sons were Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Togarmah, so fancy. Javan's sons were Elisha, Tarshish, Kittim, and Dodanim, so exotic, right? By these dudes the coastlands of the Gentiles were divided, and everyone had their own language and nation and stuff. And the sons of Ham were Cush, Mizraim, Phut, and Canaan, like big names here. Cush's sons were Seba, Havilah, Sabta, Rama, and Sabteka. And Rama's sons were Sheba and Dedan, so royal sounding. Oh, and Cush totally had this son named Nimrod, who became a mighty dude on the earth. He was a super famous hunter before the Lord. So people even say, Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. How cool is that? His kingdom started with Babel, Erech, Akkad, and Calneh in the land of Shinar, like big-time cities. From that land, Ashur went out and built Nineveh, Rehoboth city, and Calah. And there was this big city named Rezin, between Nineveh and Calah, so major. Mizraim was the father of Ludim, Anamim, Lahabim, and Naphtahim, like a lot of kids, right? And also Pathrusim and Casluim, from whom came the Philistines, and Caphtorim, more names everywhere. Canaan had this son Sidon, who was his firstborn, and then Hate. Oh, and there were also the Jebusites, Amorites, and Girgasites, plus the Hivites, Archites, and Sinites, and the Arvadites, Zemarites, and Hamathites. So later, the Canaanite families totally spread out. The borders of the Canaanites went from Sidon all the way to Gerar and Gaza, and then over to Sodom and Gomorrah, Admah, Zeboim, and even Lasha, so everywhere. These were the sons of Ham, each with their own families, languages, and nations. Shem was the father of all the children of Eber, and he was also Japheth's bro, the older one. He had a bunch of kids, too. Shem's sons were Elam, Ashur, Arphaxad, Lud, and Aram. So many names, right? And Aram's kids were Uzi, Hul, Gether, and Mash. Pretty cool names, huh? Arphaxad had this son named Sulla, and Sulla had Eber. Eber had 2 sons. One was Peleg, cause during his time, the earth was totally divided, and the other was Joktan. Joktan had a lot of kids: Almadad, Shalef, Hazarmaveth, Jerah, Hadaram, Uzal, Dikla, Obal, Abimael, Sheba, Ophir, Havilah, and Jobab. Like, all these guys were Joktan's sons. Their land stretched from Mesha all the way to Sephar, this big mountain in the east. These are the sons of Shem, each with their own families, languages, and lands, and their own nations. So these are the families of Noah's sons, all divided by their generations and nations. And from them, all the nations of the earth spread out after the flood.